Hello, hello. Welcome to Young Reech Capital. We are looking at Bitcoin today. It's been a long couple of days since I have done a live stream. I decided I'm going to be doing only one live stream a week to keep things simple and let the price action play out and essentially go live when the market is showing some completion of the week's momentum. Most likely on Thursdays and Fridays is when I'd be looking to go live. So let's dive right in and see what Bitcoin is up to. All right. So right away, what we are looking at on this chart is a couple of lines, this indicator and this price tag that I had set up. I think this was last week when I had set this up. So let me start off with the indicator, the rolling VWAP. You see this line right here. The blue line is called the rolling VWAP. This is the daily rolling VWAP. So it is essentially giving us a price point marked out with this line, which is the average volume being traded on the daily time frame. So essentially what we're looking at right now is Bitcoin trading below the VWAP, the daily VWAP, which is kind of a bearish sign. As you can see, every time the price has managed to go above the VWAP, we have had a small move. Of course, nothing too great because in the larger scheme of things, ever since we hit the all-time high right here, we've been correcting towards the downside. And one of the reasons we're correcting is we did get a retracement into the golden pocket right here, and then look at the move down. Beautiful reaction at this level. Let me get rid of this indicator for now. All right. So what can we expect on BTC? At the moment, we are looking bearish because of multiple reasons. Reason number one, pull up the 15-minute chart. Reason number one is going to be quite simple because we have broken down from this consolidation zone, essentially right here, which was yesterday, last night. We have broken down from here, and which is also an indication of a market structure shift. But of course, this is a minor micro market structure shift. It's not a major one. We still have this price to tag into, essentially this demand block, this supply zone, this demand zone, excuse me, right here is going to be key level. If we break down from this level, essentially this block right here, if we start getting some acceptance of price below these levels, that's when I would consider Bitcoin as a macro, I wouldn't say macro, but a pretty good market shift in the downward direction. Because as you can see, we did have a consolidation here as well. So the market is now essentially starting to range in this zone. Hopefully we get this price, and then once we uh, reach this level right here, essentially the 102,000 mark, as soon as we reach this zone, we will know what the market wants to do. um, Essentially right now we do have a bullish market, no doubt. As you can very well see, the market has taken a massive move ever since we broke out of this 90k level right here. So this was the key turning point of the market at 90,000 on 22nd April. We had this massive move up. So overall, we are absolutely in an uptrend. If I have to draw in a line, a trend line, see, this is another reason why I'm slightly more bearish than bullish at the moment, because we have broken below this trend line, which has had one, two, three, four, and five taps. And usually, when a trend has more than three taps and the market breaks down from something like this kind of a trend, it signals a very strong momentum to the downside or to the upside. In this case, it's to the downside. So this is one of the reasons that I am this is yeah, this is one of the reasons why I am a bit bearish. But as I said, we do need to accept price below this essentially. So let me set up an additional marker. There we go. So this price point right here, the 100,000, essentially the 100,000 level is going to be a very important level. If we take support here and go back up, that's well and good. We can expect price to range within this zone right here. But as soon as we start getting a much bigger acceptance below these levels, then we can expect the 90k, 88, 90k. So that would be a healthy move for Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, end of the night, Bitcoin is still bullish. So it would only be a retracement. It wouldn't be anything too bearish, right? So at the moment, I had marked out on this chart, if you see, I had marked out the 109k level, which we rejected off of. Of course, we did kind of go a bit above and then sweep the liquidity above the all-time high, and then we came back down. So overall, our targets are going to be the 118k and the 127k. This zone right here is going to be our target. Anywhere inside the zone is going to be our next target for Bitcoin. So more than anything, as I have marked out on the chart, this is a demand zone that we are sitting in right now. And this is going to be the rolling VWAP for 30 days on the 30-minute chart. So usually the market likes to tap into the 30-day VWAP. I had mentioned, I had set this up when we were trading somewhere here. I'd set this line up sometime last week. I think in my last week's live stream, I'd set this up. So we have now broken down, which is now signaling a move, which is most likely going to come into this rolling VWAP and going to target this low of the breakout of this consolidation. So that is our current market situation for BTC. Of course, we do have this massive demand zone as well, which was a supply zone and now has been flipped into a demand zone. So as you can see, we did go above this zone and we had this consolidation and then we broke down from it. So I would be cautious at the moment, wait for price to do its thing around these zones. And this 94,000 is also going to be a key level because as you can see right here, it was the range high for quite some time. So usually the price likes to react out of these range high and range lows. So yeah, we can keep an eye out for these prices. We do have another demand zone, a small one right here as well. And of course we have some minor key levels below these. But I don't think the price is going to retrace as far as this. If I have to mark out potential Fibonacci golden pocket zone, that would be right here. This would be the Fibonacci golden pocket zone. There we go. Right here. Get rid of this range high. That's what I'm talking about. So this yellow box that you see right here is going to be the next target for BTC, which is going to be a very important level. I think I had marked it out on my chart. Let me be clear and set up an additional marker right here. 88,845 is going to be our next target on BTC if we accept below these lows. This would be the next target. But as I said, we do have a lot of support before we reach this level. So the, the price remains to be seen until we get some reactions at these lows, some more retracement, some more consolidation, and then we'll see. There's a lot of possibilities available. So there's absolutely a lot of space for Bitcoin to now move around and do its thing. But in my opinion, we have started a corrective move, a minor corrective move of this channel, this major bullish channel that it was trading in. We have now finally broken down from it, which is almost 2 months worth of trading right here has been broken down at this level, right? So, because we have had this kind of a reaction at this level, what we can expect the price to do essentially now is show us some conviction that it wants to go down further after we break this level, which is the VWAP. Let me go back to the previous chart, much cleaner. There we go. So as I said, so we need to break this level, which is the 100K level, for the market to then target this 88K golden pocket Fibonacci zone. Let me put the call out here as well. Get rid of this. There we go. So for the price to reach here, we do need confirmation below this level, right? So there's a possibility where the market will come into this level, sweep the liquidity, and then go back up. And do that a couple of times, create some higher lows, signal to kind of trap the market participants, maybe break a trend, do these kind of things. Possibly, these are all absolutely possible things. And then, of course, come back into this golden pocket right here, then we can maybe look to target this level of 88K. So these are some potential scenarios that I'd be watching out for on BTC. Until then, we will just have to wait because the market has now started to range and consolidate within a much larger breakdown of this uptrend. So patience is the name of the game. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I go back into the lower time frame, the 5 minute time frame. I set up a quick, there we go. So this is what we're looking at on BTC on the lower time frame. So that's my overall analysis for BTC, and looks like we're gonna pretty much stay the course and look for much lower prices to then go long. This would be a good price to go long right here at the 102K region, would be a good price. Of course, got to wait for the market to create some sort of structure and then wait for it to show you some conviction that it wants to go back up. Until then, it's best to just wait it out and let the market show you which direction it wants to go. All right. So what we have here is this situation right now forming somewhat of a pennant formation. This is what's known as a pennant formation right here. This triangular formation, as you can see, where the market is creating higher lows and lower highs, is what's known as a pennant structure. And usually pennant structures are very strong in nature and they tend to cause the price to move in a very reactive manner. So if I have to point out a potential target for Bitcoin, it would be something like this. There we go. Exactly as I was saying, this pennant formation, this chart pattern, all the way from this high to this low, and it whatever this triangular formation that it's creating, right, is what's known as a pennant structure. So I measured out the high to the low, and I set it up right here, which would essentially be the focal point of the triangle. So you set it up right here, and it is exactly the measured move of this. Essentially, the supply of this would be now the supply of this. So it is indicating that the price wants to target the 100K. As I said, 102K is also a key level, no doubt. But at the end of the day, end of the night, market goes to fair value zones. Inevitably goes there 99% of the time. Of course, with the 1% of the time having room for manipulations and news events and such like some things like that, you know. So at the moment, technically, the market is signaling a certain downtrend formation. This is a pennant structure, so this is going to be our measured move to the downside, which is going to be the 100K. This line right here, which will coincide with the previous low right here of this range. Look at this wick. So this wick right here is going to be the previous low. And if I have to mark it out more precisely, it would be like this: $100,730.6. It's going to be a measured move on BTC to the downside. So let's just wait and see what happens. Let's find some more clarity within the structure, and then let's take some moves. As you can see, the market is now trading within this pennant structure. I'm going to wait for it to break down below this. As soon as we break down below this, it is going to signal a pretty strong move. And once we have that, we can expect this price of $102,000, possibly the 100K as well, because we do have liquidity sitting below these levels. At the moment, we have almost completed the liquidity of this much. All of these levels have been taken out by this move alone, just this move alone. So now we can expect a liquidity grab of this zone right here and below this as well. So this entire zone is going to be our next target, anywhere inside the zone. So what the pennant formation is now signaling is this potential 100K move. This white line that you see, perpendicular line, is a measured move to about 100K. Of course, it doesn't always play out to the T. It does have its own methods of grabbing liquidity depending on the strength of this order block right here. So if this order block is really strong, the market will then stay within this demand zone. If it's not strong enough, then we can expect this move. And then usually what they do is they like to target some sort of a liquidity below these levels, and then we kind of go back up. So that's when I'll be looking to take a long after we break this trend line. So I'm sure this trend line, now that you can see this downtrend, this trend line right here, as you can see, is a very strong one. So it's the pennant trend lines are always going to be a strong trend line. So as and when the price action develops, you can start plotting trend lines and observing which way the market wants to move. So this is the current situation on Bitcoin. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just dive into the altcoins and see what's happening. Let me pull up 30-minute chart. All right. Wow. Look at that. That is something else. These are levels that I had set up when Peanut was trading here. This is Peanut on the 30-minute time frame. I had set up these levels when we were around here. I had also provided a long entry right here and targeted this. We got that instantaneously. So these are going to be some next key levels. Let me move these price tags slightly to the right so that it's clearly visible. Get rid of these. Right. So this is what we're looking at. So the next targets for peanut will be 22 cents and possibly 13 cents. 13 cents seems slightly unlikely. If I have to measure the Fibonacci, this would then be the next move for the Fibonacci, essentially the 23-cent marker, which is going to coincide with this demand zone. All right. So this is what we're looking at on peanut. Now let's move on to the next one, which is Trump token. What do we have? All right. So Trump token at the moment, we had a breakout of sorts. Then we broke down, trapped a lot of players who went long on this breakout and then came back down. Of course, we do. This is going to be a massive, massive support zone. We need to stay below this level. As long as we stay below this level, the price looks all right for Trump to do its thing, to target this sell zone again, supply zone. So I I haven't set up any tags, so let me do that right away. And of course we have this as well. There we go. So these are going to be our potential targets for Trump token. The $10 and the $7 mark is going to be very important, and you can trade accordingly. Pause the video and you can set up these markers on your chart. So this is Trump token. Next up, we have Ondo. Ondo hasn't really been trading too well. I keep saying that, even though there are some good intraday scalp opportunities with these swings that are going on. Overall, I wouldn't recommend Ondo to do it to trade in general because of this kind of low volume volatility and also these wicks which are not low volume. So yeah, overall I had set up this price tag of 80 88, right? It was 88 something like that, right? So we did break down from this price target, and then our next target is going to be the 70-cent marker. Let me set it up right here. Of course, this is going to be another key level. So that's it. So that's pretty much it for Ondo, and then I'm quite certain that we're going to get the 70 cents. We should maintain the price above this block. If we do not maintain price below this block, then it's going to be difficult for Ondo. We might come to test this trend line, which is going to take us all the way to the 10-cent mark, which I don't think is going to happen, to be really honest. That's going to be a move of 82%. Honestly, I don't think that's going to happen because Ondo is a pretty good token in terms of tokenomics and overall dynamics, with a lot of people investing in it. It does have a good volume as well. Pretty decent volume, nothing too great. But that's Ondo for you. And next up, we have Zen. All right. So with Zen, I had said that it's very similar to Ondo. It hasn't been doing much. We did have these levels. I was expecting the 13 cents. We also had a pump today on Zen, as you can see. But at the same time, we had this massive wick, which brought us back below the the $10 mark, excuse me. So hopefully we get the $6 price tag. If we get this, then absolutely a very good place to take some longs. So that's Zen. Then next up we have Pengu. There we go. So with Pengu, I had mentioned we were taking support at the VWAP. We did at the 30-day VWAP. We did then break down from it. So we had this move down. So as soon as we had something like this happen, we started creating a much more bigger move to the downside. So the targets for Pengu are gonna be something like this. There we go. We have the 16 cents, the 10 cent, at the 1 cent. So these are the targets essentially. The next target is going to be the 1 cent marker. We're very close to it. That's Pengu, but we did get this breakdown from the trend line, so that is something to be concerned about. That's a move of 18% on Pengu from this breakdown of this trend line. Right. So next up we have Solana. All right. Get rid of these. There we go. So with Solana, we have this $162 mark. We did take support here previously. We had this move up right here. And then now we are essentially looking to take support here, which I personally feel like we're going to break, and then we're going to target this right here. This is going to be our next target. $145 is going to be our next target on Solana. So trade accordingly. You can pause the video and set up these price tags for your chart, because I had done a very extensive analysis of Solana. All of these price points are going to be key levels, so you can pause the video and set it up on your chart as well, just for future reference, and trade according to these levels. Simple as that. All right, so that was Solana. Next up, we have XRP. All right, so on XRP, I had mentioned these key levels. Also, I had mentioned that this is where I'm going to be a buyer. I have already set up my long position right here at $1.64. I think it's going to take some time for it to reach there, but it will definitely inevitably come here for the price to then target this $2 mark, the $3 mark almost. So looks like we might get this level soon, depending on BTC's move, of course. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Also pretty binary on XRP. It's a very simple chart formation. Just let it do its thing and let it reach our key levels, and that's when I'm going to take my position into XRP. Next up, we have Tau Entertainment. Tau Entertainment. That's not it. It's just Tau. Yeah. So look at this 401. We have broken down 401, and now looking to target this move right. Set up another price tag. It's going to be this right here. 333 is going to be our next price move, around the 330, $300. Anywhere around this demand zone is going to be, anywhere in this zone is going to be our next move for Tau. Of course, all the tokens have now broken down from this trend. Now possibly looking to target this somewhere around here. So this is going to be Tau. You can pause the video, of course, and plot these marks, the key levels on your chart. That was Tau. Next up, we have Popcat. All right, so looks like we did get stopped out of Popcat. I was hoping to get a good move on Popcat. We did get a good reaction, but unfortunately, we ended up getting stopped out. No worries. I had also said it is a very low risk, low capital trade, and it's part of it. It's a part of the game. Losses are a part of it, and there's nothing you can do about it. It happens, and it's how you pick up and move on from that and find the next trade, which I have already set up right here. As you can see, our next trade opportunity on Popcat is going to be right here at the 15 cents mark. This is going to be my next area of interest for Popcat. Until then, I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens. Get rid of this, no longer required. So this is Popcat, and these are going to be the key levels for Popcat. You can mark it out. Also, this is a potential long opportunity for Popcat at 16 cents, 17 cents to target 41 cents. We're going to give us a move of about 4 hour. Pretty big move, no doubt. Right, so that's going to give us a move of 144%. Massive, massive, massive stuff. Popcat trades really well. Look at the volume. The volume is also really good. I really like how Popcat has been trading overall. Of course, with BTC correcting to the downside, we are going to see all coins correct as well. Quite rash corrections on all coins. It's going to be much more stronger for the altcoins to move in general. So Yeah, just be careful of that. All right, so next up we have SUI, SUI. Will you look at this lovely trade? Almost completing itself. We had set up this beautiful 2 hour trade on 23rd May is when I'd set it up, somewhere around this zone. And we are in profit in this trade. A very simple 2 hour trade. I had recommended the swing trade right here, and our target is going to be the 3.28 marker. And we're very close to it, so we're going to hit this target very soon. And these are going to be key levels on SUI. Next up, we have Dogecoin. Right. So we have broken down from this key level of 21 cents. So can now expect Doge to tap into the 16 cents. Possibly we also have the Fibonacci pocket as well right here. I set this up. This is going to be my Fibonacci zone. And I am going to do something like this. The 19 cents is now going to be the next target for Doge coin, because this is now going to be the Fibonacci pocket of this move, retracement of this move. We're gonna have to just wait for the price to do its thing, and let's see what happens once we reach this zone as well. All right, that's Dogecoin. Next up, I think the Dogecoin chart is slightly messy. All right, expect something like this. All right, so these key levels are pretty much it on Dogecoin. Next up, if I go into Pendle, Pendle is one of my favorite altcoins of this season, because as you can see, we've had a massive move. Also, it's trading so well with BTC showing weakness. Look at Pendle, it's back at our entry. We had taken a long targeting the $5 mark, and we're back at our entry, and we have set up our stop just below this low. And hopefully we don't get stopped out on this trade and we end up taking support on this trend line again, and then essentially targeting this high as well. So that would be a great move for Pendle, one of my favorite altcoin tokens of this season. So we're just gonna have to have patience and wait and see what happens. All right, Fartcoin. Fartcoin, I had mentioned earlier that it's also one of my top favorite tokens, trading in this huge channel and really awesome for intraday moves. We did have a breakdown right here. Our next targets are going to be the 89 cents and the 67 cents. I don't think we get the 67 cents anytime soon, but anything is possible. So we just have to wait and see what happens. These are going to be the targets for Fartcoin. Next up, we have Ethereum. Ethereum overall looks really good. This chart is looking quite bullish. It is a bullish situation right now on Ethereum. We are forming some higher lows and higher highs. Of course, this is a neutral to slightly bearish pattern in most textbooks, but the reason why I say it is bullish because we are now starting to trade above the 2.5k level. We have been consolidating in this region for some time. So overall, I'm quite happy with the way Ethereum is trading, no doubt. Has a different chart pattern formation. I can set up additional trend line right here. Of course, if we break down from this level, right? So if I move, I'd like to move this key level right here to 2.4k. So this level, as soon as we break down from the 2.448 level, we are possibly going to expect the VWAP tap of the 30-day VWAP, which I feel like is going to happen. And of course, we have the 2075 level, which is going to be very, very important for almost all the players who have been trading Ethereum. This is going to be a very important zone of support, the 2000 mark. All right, so that's it for the altcoin breakdowns. Next up, we will be getting back into Bitcoin. Just see what is happening right now. Live with Bitcoin. Let me just take a look and see what's going on. Yeah, so this is what's happening with Bitcoin trading inside the pennant formation. Hopefully, we get a breakdown. Most likely, we get a breakdown to target 102K. That'd be a great, lovely move. Pretty much all the market participants are expecting this move right here. Breakdown of this move all the way to the $102,000. Going to be a pretty interesting move to see Bitcoin do that. Uh, I just hope that it doesn't fake the market out, sweep the liquidity below this, and then go back up. That would be a slightly cheeky move for BTC to do. I've seen Bitcoin do that on multiple times, many times. I've seen Bitcoin fake the market out and trap a lot of players, retail participants, into going short after on this breakdown, then come back out here, sweep the liquidity below this low, and then go back up. Then a good short opportunity for such a scenario would be right here, this golden pocket. If I mark this out on the chart, yeah. So this would then be a good place to take a shot to target the 102K. If at all we don't get we get something like a fake out below this, and then we target this, and then we can do something like that. Possibly these are some options. Of course, we can also directly hit the target. There's no doubt about that as well. If something like that happens, it's an awesome move for almost everybody. Will give a lot of relief to people who have been trying to short BTC ever since this move right here. This was the 109,000 move, which a lot of people thought that the market is going to go down from here. But then, of course, we did sweep the liquidity at and went into some new all-time highs, and then, of course, then came back down, had this move as well. All right, so that is it for today's live stream. I will be back next week, possibly on either Thursday or Friday, depending on what price action we have next week. So I will be doing pretty much the same thing, breaking down all the altcoins on my watch list and of course BTC as well, and moving along with the price every week so that people have good understanding and also a form of guidance to approach trading Bitcoin, whether it's in the short term, intraday, or even the long term moves. I provide all the key levels for people to look at and trade accordingly. All right, so that's it for today's live stream. Hope you all have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves, trade safely, and I will see you all next week.